It really it all started on March 20th, and coincidentally, this was the day that the federal government made a call for businesses to retool. But Dr. Neil Naik from the KW Academy of Medicine came by, let us know that the region was short about 10,000 face shields. So to me, like a pretty staggering number at that time. And we had 3D printers and laser cutters that normally we would put into a school. So I think we did what anybody would do. We jumped in and helped. So we unboxed and then created laser cutters and 3D printers, and just started making them right away. The 3D printed version takes quite a long time to make. Like just the headband piece is almost an hour of 3D printing. So we knew that if we were just making them ourselves, we'd only make dozens of them. We'd never get to where we needed to be. So I, on a whim, kind of put out a call on Twitter to see if people could help us. And I guess that's the power of social media. It blew up. The maker community really came to bat for us, and suddenly we were getting hundreds of those pieces in a day, and we had a lot of laser cutters, so making the shields to match was easy. And that was kind of the inception point. Yeah. March 20th at about 11:30 is when Dr. Neil Naik came by, and when everything kind of started. And so we started with those 3D printed versions. I think by about midnight that night, we had created a different version of it that could be fully laser cut so that we could start moving a bit faster. And at the same time, we were just unboxing more and more of our laser cutters. So I think in a pretty short time, we had about 10 of these machines running around the clock to make shields. It was 4 days after that original event, the startup basically, that we got our Health Canada license, and at the same time started talking to Ontario Health about how we could produce 300,000 shields for them. I mean, there's been a lot of hurdles along the way. Laser cutting millions of shields would be impossible. So we shifted technologies into stamping. So we were using these old school manual presses. You hit a button on each side, and it's like a cookie cutter that smashes through the plastic. At first, we were doing manual pressing, and now we've got automated die presses out there. And I think the announcement we made was for 1 million shields produced. And since we made that announcement, we've produced another 1 million. So it's the pace of things here has increased exponentially. In an hour at the beginning, the very first day, it was tens, and then it became hundreds, and then it became thousands. Now we're making on average about 200,000 shields a day. Honestly, it's pretty incredible, and I think we just owe so much to the community. The KW community that really formed around us in those early days, and even now, they really had our back. Communitech was a huge part of how we got our Health Canada certification, and how we got connected to all these levels of government. And the city of Kitchener, we got a building permit approved in 6 hours, and I don't know that that's possible in regular times. So there's just a lot of people that are a core part of the story, and just we're thankful that we're able to help. It's a pretty magical thing that's happened, I think. Well, I think the big thing for us is that this crisis has expose the fact that a global supply chain is inadequate for protecting Canada. We need to have a solid manufacturing base here for personal protective equipment so that, if we're ever in crisis again, we're safe and our people are safe. So, I think a lot of what we've talked about is our face shield production and the milestones we've hit there. But in the background, we've brought on a team of engineers, and we're working hard every day to start bringing other productions online. So things like surgical masks, gowns, eventually N95s or similar, right? We're going to do it all here in Kitchener. We're going to create, a long-term manufacturing base, hopefully hundreds of jobs, and I hope that this is a reawakening of Canadian manufacturing. I think that, from an environmental perspective, it makes sense to make all of the things that we need day to day right here, because there's a significant less impact on our environment to do that. And I think that with technology and highly skilled labor, we can automate that process enough to make it cost competitive so that we are insulated from that global supply chain. And if we make that a priority, I think we'll have a new Canada on the other side of this. So that's maybe an exciting thing that'll come in the future. Yeah, so the Community Shield effort is being spun down now. So in the coming days, we'll have an announcement about what that looks like and what our timelines are. But our production here, with the sheer numbers that we're producing, it just makes sense that we can kind of take that burden off the community. People are spending tens of hours of their time to print and their own money on these materials. So we're going to make a matching donation. So match what has been produced through the Community Shield program and donate that to long-term care facilities and reserves and other places that are in need. And we're going to try to find a cool way to memorialize everybody that has contributed to that effort as well. But we know that face shields in a post-COVID world aren't necessarily like a big ticket item. Like, we're not going to see massive volumes anymore, and that's why we're making this concerted effort to bring in disposable masks and all of those other pieces that healthcare workers need on a day-to-day basis, even in peacetime. So. It's really difficult for everybody right now. A lot of people are hurting. The economy is hurting. A lot of people are stuck at home, and it can be frustrating. And I think there's a temptation, especially as the warmer weather comes, that people want to go outside and see people, and I understand it. But I think just be careful. Like, we really gotta do everything that we can to be safe over these next few weeks, or we're going to undo everything. All that progress we just made by staying in isolation will be undone in a matter of days if we're not careful. So I hope that everybody kind of sticks to the plan, and we get through this, because then everybody wants this to end sooner rather than later. So stay safe.